Hello and welcome to League One Game Week 18 predictions. If you do like League One predictions, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. Some big matches this weekend, as we know. So, let's just dive straight into my League One Game Week 18 predictions. And jumping into Saturday's matches then at 12:30, and it up first is Blackpool taking on Reading at Bloomfield Road at 12:30. Blackpool drawing away at Leyton Orient at the weekend, 1-1 scoreline. Reading also drawing at home, 1-1 against Rotherham. Both sides doing all right, not amazing. Blackpool haven't been on form. They had a little bounce when Ian Evatt came in. There were 2 games, I think, against Cardiff and Peterborough. Liam Richardson also pretty new in a Reading I think it's most recent managers have been appointed, taking each other on in this one. Liam Richardson and Ian Evatt for their respective clubs, of course. Blackpool sit 22nd, Reading sit 18th in the table at the moment. Head-to-heads look like this: 3-0 win for Blackpool over Reading last season on the 1st of April. 3-0 win for Blackpool over Reading last time they did play. Tough one to call this one, but I think Blackpool are going to be quite good at home. They've had a pretty good home record against Reading of recent times. The head-to-heads overall, 8 wins for Blackpool, 2 draws and 6 wins for Reading on this occasion. I am going to back Blackpool to win this by 2-0 over Reading in this one. I don't think Reading are quite clicking away from home. They're better at home than they are away from home. So backing Blackpool to win this by 2-0 over Reading in this one. Now into what is probably the game of the round, and it's Stockport County taking on Conor Hourihan's Barnsley. Of course, Barnsley getting an absolute brilliant win at the weekend, beating Luton by 5-0. Stockport losing away at Peterborough, not great that on Thursday night with the new manager bout and all of that. Stockport did draw against Wigan at home, 1-1 before that. They've not been particularly great, have they? Head-to-heads though, last season 2-1 home win for Stockport over Barnsley, 1-1 draw between Barnsley and Stockport. Last time I did play at Stockport and Barnsley respectively last season. 5th for Stockport at the moment, 10th for Barnsley. Wouldn't be surprised if Stockport went and won this, but they are on quite poor form. Barnsley will be carrying that momentum of beating Luton 5-0 from the weekend. Stockport have scored 7 in the last 5. Barnsley scored 10 in the last 5. Going to be a crazy game. I'm going to back Stockport to win this by 4-2. I think this is going to be an absolute goal fest. Backing a 4-2 Stockport County win over Barnsley in this one. Bradford versus Exeter now then. Bradford have been okay so far this season. Decent point away at Bolton last time out, but they have been on a bit of a horrible run since that. Or they lost to Cheltenham in the Cup. They lost to Burton in the league. Lost to Donny in the EFL Trophy in there as well. Exeter did lose to Leyton Orient at the weekend as well in there. 1-0 away win for Exeter over Bradford last time these sides played in League 2 in 2022. It was a 0-0 draw back on the 7th of August 2021, last time they did play in the league. 5 wins for Exeter, 3 draws, 1 win for Bradford on this occasion. Exeter do have a pretty good away record at Bradford City. Wouldn't be surprised if that went on to happen again. Difficult one to call this one. I am going to back Bradford to win this though. I'm going for a nice 2-0 home Bradford win in this one to get over the line against Exeter City. Exeter look pretty poor away from home at the moment under Gary Caldwell, so don't they? So 2-0 Bradford in this one over Exeter. Burton Leyton Orient is next. Burton getting a very good win over Blackpool last time out. That was in the international break weekend. They didn't play last weekend. Oh yeah, because Exeter had that fire at their stadium at St James's Park, didn't they? And they didn't play. 1-1 draw for Leyton Orient last time out over Blackpool in that one. They did beat Exeter the week before in there as well. 16th versus 14th. Leyton Orient underperforming this season. Burton high scorers in 14th at the moment. They in the last few matches they've scored 12 in their last 5. That is a lot more than what they scored in their first 11. Only scored 5 goals. That can't be right. Over in all competitions, that's probably why. Leyton Orient only scored 6 in their last 5. Head-to-heads look like this: 2-1 home win for Burton last season over Leyton on the 1st of April. 0-0 draw back at Leyton Orient. Burton have a pretty good home record against Leyton Orient off the past, I think, saying that they've just been pretty good. In general, they've beaten them a few times already. Leyton Orient probably will win this if they are starting to click under Richie Wellens this season. They need to start clicking, getting results together if they are going to push the playoffs towards the end of the season. I'm going to back a 1-1 draw in this one between these two. I don't think there's going to be a lot in it. So yeah, backing a 1-1 draw between Burton and Leyton in this one. I think it'll be quite a cagey game between these two. Cardiff take on Mansfield at the Cardiff City Stadium. Now, Cardiff getting a very good away win over Northampton at the weekend by 3-1. Mansfield losing at home to Huddersfield, which was a bit of a surprise in that one. Northampton did beat Mansfield before that. Mansfield have actually lost 3 games on the trot to Huddersfield in the Virtue Trophy. Northampton and Huddersfield in there as well. Not great for them at the moment. 4-1 winners. Cardiff did win back in the FA Cup on the 16th of January 2018. That might have been first round. And then it was a 0-0 draw on the 6th of January in 2018 as well. Second for Cardiff, 13th for Mansfield. Cardiff should win this. They're quite dominant at home this season. I think they did lose, was it to Bolton or somebody? They did lose to, they lost to Bolton away. I lost to Bradford at home earlier in the season at home. That was their second home defeat of the season. I am gonna back a Cardiff 2-0 home win in this one over Mansfield. Though I think it'd be quite a comfortable win for Barry Murphy's side, and I think they'll beat Mansfield by 2-0 quite comfortably in this one. Doncaster Peterborough now then. Doncaster, well, if Peterborough were to win this 21st against 19th, Peterborough would go above Doncaster on goal difference, but they would be level on points, of course. 4-1 away win for Peterborough last time they did play in 2021. 2-2 home draw back, 2-2 draw for Peterborough at Doncaster at the Western Homes. Yeah, difficult one to call this one. Doncaster really struggling at the moment. Haven't won since the first international break in September. That was their last win in League One. They started the season really well. Have just slumped off a cliff since then. Take on a Peterborough side under Luke Williams that are doing pretty handy themselves at the moment. Yeah, I would not be surprised if Peterborough went and won this one. Yeah, Peterborough have been pretty good of recent times. Yeah, I'm going to back the posh in this one just to the new managed bouts of Luke Williams and Doncaster just been absolutely crap in general. I'm going to back a 2-0 away Peterborough win in this one over Doncaster. Doncaster really struggling at the moment. So yeah, back in Peterborough to win this over Doncaster by 2-0 in this one. Now to the Acu Stadium we go, where Huddersfield Town take on a Wimbledon side that are out of form at the moment. Huddersfield did lose to Luton last time out, or at the weekend I should say, or last night I should say, in League One. Yeah, disappointing defeat. Luton getting the win there, backing themselves up from that 5-0 loss at Barnsley. We'll speak about that in a minute when we get on to Luton. Huddersfield in 8th at the moment, still 3 points off those, 2 points off Bolton, 3 points off Stockport, Lincoln, Bradford. Yeah, they're still in it, Huddersfield, but Lee Grant should be doing a lot better job at the moment, you would have to say, for Huddersfield Town at the moment. Yeah, difficult one to call. Wimbledon slightly out of form at the moment. Did lose at home to Wigan at the weekend. They were abysmal away at Peterborough, weren't they? Huddersfield should get over the line in this one because just the quality they have at the moment. They did beat Mansfield in the Virtue Trophy. They beat Plymouth in the league, beat Mansfield, but then losing to Leeds last night, of course. Huddersfield are going to win this, I think. Wimbledon don't look the greatest at the moment. I'm going to back Huddersfield for a nice 1-0 home victory. I think it'll be scrappy. I don't think it's going to be easy for Wimbledon, for Huddersfield in this one. I think Wimbledon might make it quite a tricky game, but yeah, back in League Grant's Huddersfield to win by a goal to 0 over Wimbledon in this one. Lincoln versus Port Vale now. Then Lincoln and Port Vale both losing last time out. Lincoln losing 3-2 away at Michael Duff's Wickham. 1-0 home loss for Port Vale over Plymouth. Really deafening defeat, that one, for Port Vale. Just losing to bottom of the league and then going bottom yourself after losing. They're only on 14 points at the moment, stricken at the bottom of the table. 2-0 away win for Lincoln. Last time these sides played in 2024 in League One was 1-1 draw back on the 11th of November in 2023. 6 wins for Lincoln, 2 draws, 3 wins for Port Vale. Previously, Lincoln have been pretty good at home, it has to be said. 3 wins and 2 draws against Port Vale in the past. Lincoln should win this. I mean, they're doing really well at the moment. I Oh, Michael Scabala's Lincoln. They've always had a good record over Port Vale as well. And that is why I am back in Lincoln City and Michael Scabala's side to get over the line in this one by 3 goals to 1. Yeah, Darren Moore's Port Vale looking a bit shoddy at the moment at the back. So yeah, 3-1 to Lincoln in this one over Port Vale in this one. Luton versus Bolton next. Luton, of course, winning that game 2-1 last night against Huddersfield, but the bigger problem lied where they lost 5-0 to Barnsley at the weekend. I'm not sure what was going on there. Jack Wilshere and his side will need to reassess what went on there, but it was a fairly even game of football. Luton weren't completely out of it. Barnsley just had higher XG and higher shots on target, but Luton were in the game, but just scoreline just flattered it, didn't it? 2-1 Luton away win last time they did play on the 16th of January in the FA Cup. 0-0 draw on the 7th of January. 0-0 in the FA Cup at Kenilworth Road, so it went to replay, and that is why it ended as a 2-1 away win for Luton at Bolton. Yeah, difficult one. This Luton have been okay at home, you could say. Or have they? 17th. No, they have not been okay at home, but then they've been crap away. Bolton have been not very good away. It's a bit of a mix of both, to be honest. I'm going to back a draw in this one. I'm going to back another 1-1. Sit on the fence. Maybe a bit boring, I know, but yeah, nothing really going to separate these sides at the moment. But yeah, 1-1 draw between Luton and Bolton in this one. Plymouth versus Northampton now in what could be El Shitigo, and I think it is El Shitigo because it is, we'll say that. Don't disrespect Northampton, 17th at the moment. Plymouth in 23rd themselves on 16 points. Not great. Tom Cleverley, they got a win last time out. It's not really what they would have wanted. They have lost the 4 previous games to that 1-0 away win at Port Vale. 3-1 home loss to Cardiff for Northampton at the weekend. Kind of expected to lose to the league leaders in that one. Northampton did beat Shrewsbury before that. That was in the Virtue Trophy there. Northampton did beat Mansfield before that and then lost the rest of the 2 games in the last 5. 9 wins for Plymouth, 1 draw, 5 wins for Northampton. Plymouth have a pretty good home record over Northampton, but I would not be surprised if Northampton went and won this at Plymouth. Difficult one to call. I'm actually going to back the away side in this one. May come as a surprise, but I'm going to back a Northampton 2-1 away win in this one. Plymouth look absolutely dreadful at the moment. And that is why I am backing a Northampton away win in this one. So, yeah, Northampton to win by 2-1 away at Plymouth this weekend. Rotherham versus Wickham now then. Rotherham will be looking to win this after back-to-back draws away at Reading and drawing away at Luton as well in the international break. Feels a while since Rotherham last played. Well, they haven't played in successively for a while. This will be the first time they will have done that 2 Saturdays in a row for, well, a while. I say that, but then the international break was a week before. What am I waffling on about? Anyway, Wickham did beat Lincoln 3-2. Last time these sides played 0-0 draw. Last time Wickham played at the weekend. 0-0 draw against Port Vale in there. They did beat Gillingham, Leyton Orient and Plymouth in all competitions. Before that, 3-0 away win for Wickham over Rotherham. Last time he says played in a head-to-head match at the New York. 2-0 home win for Wickham in 2024 last season. 7 wins for Wickham, 3 draws, 1 win for Rotherham. Difficult one to call. Wickham have a pretty good record away at Rotherham, and I'm going to back them to continue that winning record. I'm going to back them by 1-0. I think it'd be quite a tight match, but I think Wickham will just get over the line in this one by 1-0 over Rotherham United in this one. So yeah, Wickham to win by 1-0 over Rotherham in this one. Final game is Wigan taking on Stevenage. 2 sides that are pretty defensively solid, you would have to say, in this one. Wigan beating Wimbledon last time out. Stevenage beating Peterborough. Back-to-back wins. 2 wins at the weekend for these 2 sides. Of course, both sides did win. They haven't won in the last 4, respectively. Either Stevenage top of the table at the moment. They went back top with that win over Peterborough at the weekend. 15th for Wigan at the moment. Not great under Ryan Lowe at the moment. Wigan did win this fixture last season 2-1 away at Stevenage, but there was a 0-0 draw back at the DW or whatever you want to call it. 3-2 away with for Stevenage was the only time they have played again. Well, before that 0-0 draw was at Wigan was a 3-2 away with for Stevenage. Difficult one to call. I'm going to back a draw. It's 2 KG teams. So I'm going to back another 1-1 draw in this one. May sound boring. That's 3 1-1s I've predicted now. I think maybe more. Yeah, 1-1 between Wigan and Stevenage in this one. Thank you all for watching my Game Week 18 predictions for League One. If you do like the League One predictions, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and do all of that good stuff. And I'll speak to you on the next one, which will be Championship predictions. So don't forget to stay tuned for that. Premier League predictions might be Saturday morning because I'm quite busy on Friday. So yeah, just let you know in advance for that one. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll speak to you on the next one.